One of the main blocks preventing women from having the relationship they desire is that they don't trust men. And that distrust has been a byproduct of very real, valid experiences with the masculine. But what's actually happening in the present moment is that they don't trust their own inner man. So if you find yourself pushing intimacy away or sabotaging intimacy or attracting the same kind of men or stuck in the same patterns, what's actually happening is you don't trust your own inner man, your own inner masculine. And so subconsciously, you push intimacy away because it feels too unsafe. It feels too threatening. But what's actually going on here is that you don't trust your own ability to protect yourself. And that's your inner man, the part of you that keeps you safe, that holds boundaries, that doesn't compromise your needs, that speaks your truth. So if you don't trust your inner man, relationships are going to feel very unsafe. Relating to men is going to feel really unsafe because there's no sense of protection or boundaries. So if you don't trust your inner man, you're not going to trust yourself to hold boundaries. You're not going to trust yourself to have the discernment to know when it's time to walk away, or when it's getting toxic, or when this man really isn't aligning with who he says he is. If you don't trust your inner man, you're not going to trust yourself to have your own back in relationships. You're not going to trust yourself to not compromise your needs. You're not going to trust yourself to draw the line when the line needs to be drawn. When you don't trust your inner man, your feminine is not going to feel safe to come forward. She is not going to feel safe to receive and be in her openness and magnetism. Because it's like being fully available with no sense of boundaries or safety. Which means we are going to operate in survival when it comes to relating, when it comes to intimacy. When you trust your inner man, you feel safe to be receptive and open and magnetic, because you know that there's this part of you that has your back, that's keeping an eye out, that's not getting lost in the fantasy and the romance and the emotions and chemicals of love. Your inner man is there, staying in integrity. A lot of women that don't trust their inner man tend to overcompensate by becoming very masculine, by becoming this very independent, action-taking, quite closed woman. Because being in your feminine just feels way too vulnerable. It almost feels like a weakness. And so if you don't trust your inner man, you will overcompensate by shutting men out. You'll probably tend to take the lead in your relationships and be the one leaning forward and doing all the work and the organizing, because again, you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to be able to hold the intense vulnerability that relationships trigger. Your inner man is your container for all the emotions and feelings and density that relationships trigger in us. So if you don't trust your inner man, you're not going to want to really go there with someone. You're not going to open yourself up. You're not going to allow yourself to be seen and go all the way with someone. You're going to want to play on the surface. there's no way you're going to be available for the depth. When you trust yourself, you allow yourself to go all the way. You allow yourself to be seen. You allow yourself to be in your openness and magnetism because you have your own back. It doesn't feel threatening. It doesn't feel like this man needs to prove himself to me before I really let him in. Or we don't operate in this state of hypervigilance. You know, is he going to show up? Is he genuine? What are his intentions? Does he really like me? Because you know that there's this part of you that is so switched on to having your own back, to holding your boundaries, drawing the line when it needs to be drawn, that you can just allow yourself to open with absence of agenda. You can allow yourself to just go with the journey of love organically, not this fanatical, oh my God, it better work out the way I want it to because, you know, otherwise this is it, this is my only chance. Or I need to keep my cards really close to my chest and keep myself really concealed and withdrawn because otherwise I'm going to get taken advantage of. So integrating your own inner masculine in a really healthy way is the key to feeling safe enough to be in your feminine, to be in your true magnetism. Because if you don't trust yourself to have your own back, you are not going to feel safe to being this receptive, vulnerable way of relating to men. If I am speaking to you, if this is really resonating and you're ready to make these changes and transform the way you relate to men, if you're ready to call in a soul-aligned relationship or deepen the intimacy you experience with your existing partner or lover, then do get in touch. I have a very small handful of spots available for one-to-one intensive journeys for female leaders and entrepreneurs who consider themselves to be very purpose-led and driven, who have still not mastered the art of relating to men, or who still find relationships to be very uncomfortable. And it's just something in your life that you're really wanting to open to. I hope that that has served you in some way. Lots of love.